Hi there. What's this invisible voice that you hear? Well, I'm your instructor, Ari Smith, and I'm going to walk you through this course of how to increase your credit score really fast. Okay? We're going to start off with a nice introduction and get you to doing all the pre work, like figuring out what's your credit score and what's your net worth. And if you don't know what those mean, don't worry. We're going to go into detail about that. Then we're going to move to section 1, where we're going to teach you about how credit works and how to fix things on your credit report. And we're going to help you set up your bills on auto pay. You're probably asking, why is that important to my credit? I'm definitely going to answer that for you as well. It's super important. Then we're going to go to section 2, which is pretty much getting you to get into good credit habits. Why do you want to do that? You don't want to slack because your credit score can go up and down. So we want to make sure you keep doing these good credit behavior steps so you can keep it high. So what you're going to see is a graph to the right, and this pretty much is like the grading scale for credit. You know, like in school, it goes from A to F. Well, in credit score terms, it goes from excellent to bad. So take a look and see where you stand. So if I asked you, what's your credit score? What would you tell me? Also, did you know there's three different types of credit scores? Yeah, that's confusing. So the three credit bureaus are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. What I'm going to show you is how to get all three credit scores for free straight to your phone. Can you say awesome? So on iOS devices, download the app Credit Karma and Credit.com. If you have an Android device, download Credit Karma and Credit Sesame. These two apps will give you all of your credit scores for all three bureaus. All right, so let's start with Credit Karma. That's an app that's available on both iOS and Android. Okay, so what you want to do if you don't have an account is sign up for free. Okay, pretty much here you'd fill in your email address, create a password, then you'd put in your social and some information about you, and then you confirm your identity and then you can log in. So let's say you do all that and you log in. I'm going to use mine for example. Don't steal my credit. Okay, people? All right. So Credit Karma's app is really, really cool. You can do it on your phone or on your laptop, and it gives you two scores. That's what I love about it. It gives you both scores for free. Okay. So as you can see, TransUnion is on the left and Equifax is on the right. Okay. Now, they use the Vantage Score 3.0 for calculating credit. Credit Karma does that, Credit.com and Credit Sesame, they all use this Vantage score. So this is a type of grading scale. Like insurance companies use the FICO grading scale, some credit card companies use different stuff. But this Vantage Score 3.0, it's a really, really popular grading scale. So that's what we're going to base everything off of. Okay. So, what you want to do is take note of your score. Your scores may not be completely identical like mine are. Sometimes they're a couple numbers off, and that's completely normal. Don't freak out. But if it's a big difference, like 20 or 30 points difference, that's something you definitely want to check your report to make sure that both of these reports have the same information because they might not. Okay. They should be very close to each other. It's actually rare you see the same number. Okay. So Now what we're going to do is go to score details, right? So this is pretty much the breakdown of how credit works, okay? So if you go down to credit factors here, it shows you some things that are impacting your credit, okay? So this is how credit scores are created. See this credit card use here? It's also called credit utilization in different apps. What that means is, let's say you have credit cards and your maximum amount on those cards is $10,000. What you want to do is you want to keep your credit card use low, okay? Because the closer you are to your max balance, that's going to impact your score really highly, as you can see this. There are three things that impact your score a lot, as in they're weighted more than the other factors. Those high impact things are credit utilization or credit card use, your payment history, and derogatory marks. So, what payment history means is, are you paying your bills on time? You will not believe even one or two missed payments here and there, they impact your score like crazy. That's where we're going to talk about bill automation later. And derogatory marks, that means anything like collections, bankruptcies, tax liens. If you owe something in collections or you've ever had a bankruptcy, those are really high impactful things to your credit. So you really want to try to avoid that type of stuff. And if you have stuff in collections, I'll tell you how to get those out of collections if you can, or even get them off your report, because I've done it myself. That's why I'm at zero. Another thing is this is kind of medium impact, your credit age. What does that mean? So, your credit cards, your loans, your mortgages, all that stuff that takes credit to get, they calculate your age. So, what you want to do is you want to have credit for a long time. That shows people, hey, this person knows what they're doing with credit. They've had a long history with it, and I can trust them. That's what credit age means. Okay. In total accounts, that pretty much means that you have a good mix of accounts like mortgage, car lease, you've got some student loans mixed in there, you've got credit cards. This is like a mix of accounts. They like to see that you have a mix of different accounts. Okay. It's kind of low impactful and it's really up to you, but it definitely can help you out. And what you see over here under hard inquiries, that means the times that your credit has been ran. Like, for example, when you get a new line of credit, like let's say you go to a wireless service provider, like AT&T, for example, and you open up a brand new line, they run your credit. That's called a hard inquiry. All right. Another common thing that gets hard inquiries is when you open up a credit card or when you're going for an apartment and they run your credit. That's a hard inquiry. All right. They happen to fall off every 2 years. So, because sometimes you can't avoid it, but try to keep these as low as possible. Okay. So, if I scroll down here, what is a really nice tool in Credit Karma is you can actually simulate your score. Like right now, my credit card use, it's semi high. You really want to keep it under 30%, but you'll be doing even better if you keep it under 10%. But at least keep it under 30. So let's simulate my score, for example. So let's say I pay off $1,000 of it. So then my new balance is like that much. I think that puts me under, here, let's do 3,200 or 3,000. Just make it simple. See how it gives me tips here? So let's see, I paid off my balance. Whoa, look at that. My current score is 739. If I just lowered my balance down to 3,000, 20 points. See what I mean? Those high impact factors If you fix those, you will jump your score up really quickly, really high. And that was just by paying off a balance by what, $1,000? That's nuts. That's a really, really common tactic if you need to get your score high in a short amount of time. Pay down those credit cards. All right, let's go back. Do you remember the other high impact stuff? Payment history, derogatory marks. So let's say for payment history, yours isn't perfect like mine, and mine's definitely wasn't perfect all my life. So there really isn't much you can do about that besides pay your bills on time through bill automation. All right. And we're going to show you how to do that in a later lecture. But derogatory marks, this is where people tend to hire lawyers to tackle this on for you. It's really not necessary. So I'm going to take one example. Let's say you have collection accounts, like those medical bills you forgot to pay. Yeah, I've done that too. So what you want to do is, let's click on derogatory marks. Let's say you have stuff here. What it will usually tell you is the amount and the company that you owe with. What you want to do is you want to do a Google search on them, track down their customer care number, and call them. Call them and get your information, like your account number. If it's a newer collection account that's pretty recent, like this year, try to negotiate with them. All right, now listen very carefully. Companies, you can pay off the entire balance and it will still be on your credit report. And sometimes you can pay off the entire balance and they'll wipe it from your credit report. Okay? By law, if you ask them to do this, they are not obligated to do that for you. All right? And most times they'll maybe even tell you, oh, we can't. So being nice goes a really long way when you're asking somebody for a favor. Of your collection accounts, let's say one is 500 bucks and you happen to have 500 bucks laying around that you could put toward this bill. Call up the collection agency, get your account number from them, negotiate with them. Say, hey, can we work out a deal? If I pay the balance off in full, can you wipe the account from my credit report? If they say yes, try your best to get that in writing. To try to get the agreement in writing via email, which is probably the easiest way, or a letter. Okay? That's the easiest way to remove collection accounts from your credit report, which is ideal. But let's say they can't. No big deal. At that point, there really isn't a benefit to paying it off in full all at once, especially if you can't afford it. So just work out a payment plan with them. Work out a payment plan, pay it on your schedule. Don't let them bully you into anything. Pay what you can afford. All right? The goal is to pay it off. And let's say you have a medical bill that's like $10,000. What you can do with that, if you have a large sum of money, say $7,000 lying around, you can negotiate to settle the balance. What settling the balance means is you negotiate with them and say, hey, this is a $10,000 bill. I don't have $10,000 laying around, but I have 7,000. Can we agree to settle for $7,000 and pay off the account and forgive the rest? They may go back and forth with you on this stuff, but you could do that, which means you get out of paying $3,000. Awesome, right? There's a catch. If you settle balances, it actually does not look good on your credit report. Okay? And it actually does show that you settled on your credit report. I only suggest that if you have really, really large collection account bills and you don't have a lot of money. Okay? In those cases, try to negotiate that. But your ideal cases is you always want to try to pay the balance off in full. All right? Don't forget that. Derogatory marks. And as far as anything like bankruptcy, those stay on your report for a good 7 years. There's no way to speed it up. You kind of got to be patient with that. Okay? All right. Now we're going to go to credit sesame. All right. So credit sesame, same thing here. If you've never signed up, definitely sign up for credit sesame. Okay. If you have an iOS device, you can skip this step because you're going to use a different app. But my Android users, go ahead and set up a credit sesame account. Okay. I have one already, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And ta-da! Interesting. I also have a 739 credit score here too. They're all similar. It's so crazy. So what you see here is, you see this payment history? Remember how I had 100% on the other app? Yeah, because they're pulling from different credit bureaus. This one uses Experian. And, well, my credit payment history isn't great on Experian. And it will differ because not all creditors report to all three bureaus. So that's why you might see some discrepancies. Okay. So anyway, Credit Sesame has the same thing here. So those factors, they have it here. It's under payment history, credit usage, credit age, account mix, and credit inquiries. That stuff sound familiar? It's pretty much the same thing. All right. So how you want to see your details? Let's say I'm going to pick credit usage, view details. Okay, that's how you see the details of your different attributes. Okay, so credit usage 32%. Yeah, it said something similar before. What's cool about Credit Sesame is it tracks my usage over time. Like, for example, October, November, December, I definitely run my credit up during the holiday season, and then it kind of goes up and down from there. But what this can do is give you kind of a trend of where you are and where you could be when you're going down and down and down. It's kind of good to see the progress. Like in March, I was at 53%. Then I got myself together and started going down gradually. And that's what you want to do. All right. Credit age, account mix. So yeah, it pretty much is very similar to Credit Karma, but a little different layout. Oh yeah, those are student loans from back in the day when I was unemployed. All right, let's move it along. Next, we're going to go to credit.com. Now, these are for my iOS users, okay? So, same thing. If you don't have an account, definitely sign up. And after you sign up, go ahead and log in. See these 5 attributes? They're like the same. They're the same because they all use Vantage Score 3.0 ratings. All right. So, similar to the other apps, you can literally hover over it and kind of click on where you want to go. Okay. And it gives you details about your account. Cool. All right. So that's kind of how you get a feel for your credit baseline and what these terms mean for you, because it's definitely different per person. Okay. Like, for example, your overall credit limit could be different. Let's say your MasterCard has a $10,000 limit, right? And let's say your balance is 7,000. That's what you would see here. And then your debt to limit ratio. So it's different per person. It's not going to look like mine. Okay.